So, you want to be a cloud engineer, right? Awesome choice. But let's be real, there is so much noise out there, it's really easy to get lost. So in this explainer, we are going to cut right through all of that confusion and give you a super clear, actionable roadmap that actually works. Let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about the opportunity here. You know the global cloud market? It's growing at a pretty impressive 20%. But in India, that growth is an absolutely staggering 26%. Companies are scrambling to move to the cloud, and they need engineers, like yesterday. And all that demand? Well, it leads to some pretty amazing salaries. We're talking an average starting point of around 10 lakhs per annum. But look, with the right skills, that can easily jump to 40 lakhs or even more. The potential here is genuinely life-changing. Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? If there's so much demand and the pay is so good, why do so many people struggle to land a great cloud role? What is the disconnect here? And here it is. This is the core of the problem. A massive 60% of freshers are certified, but they're not actually qualified. They've got the piece of paper, but they are completely lacking the practical, industry-ready skills that companies are desperate to hire. This roadmap, it's designed to fix exactly that. All right, let's start with stage one. Before you even think about touching a cloud service, you need a rock-solid foundation. Why? Because the cloud isn't some kind of magic. It's really just someone else's computer, and it runs on these absolute core principles. Your foundation is built on two main pillars. First up, Linux. Over 90% of the world's cloud servers run on it. Seriously. If you don't know your way around a terminal, you are already falling behind. Second, networking. You just have to understand how data moves around to build systems that are both secure and efficient. Now, the good news is you can get these fundamentals down in about 4 to 5 weeks if you really focus. Trust me, this little bit of time you invest up front is going to pay off like you wouldn't believe. With that foundation locked in, we move on to stage two. The modern cloud engineer, they're not just a button clicker in some web console. No way. They are an automator. Your entire goal is to write code that does the boring, repetitive stuff for you, which saves time and, stops you from making silly mistakes. So for automation, we're going to focus on three key things. First, Python. It's the industry standard, it's simple, it's powerful, you gotta know it. Then Bash scripting, so you can automate things directly on your Linux servers. And finally, Git and GitHub. This is absolutely non-negotiable for saving your code and working with a team. You can get a really solid handle on all these automation tools in about 4 weeks. And once you master this, you're perfectly set up to start thinking about the cloud itself. Okay, this next stage is all about changing how you think. It's not just about memorizing what AWS or Azure services do, it's about understanding why they even exist in the first place. This is what separates someone who just uses tools from a true problem solver. You need to get these big, vendor-neutral ideas into your head. Understand the difference between infrastructure, platform, and software as a service. Really grasp what things like regions and availability zones mean for keeping things running, and maybe most importantly, get how that pay-as-you-go pricing model works. This whole conceptual stage is pretty short, only about 2 weeks, but it is so important. This is basically the mental framework you're going to use for everything else that comes next. All right, now it's time to get specific. A lot of beginners make this huge mistake of trying to learn AWS and Azure and GCP all at the same time. Don't do that. The reality is, an employer would much rather see deep knowledge of one platform than just surface-level stuff on 3. So pick one, AWS, Azure, whatever, and just go deep. So within the platform you choose, you have to master these 5 core areas. And I don't mean just read about them. I mean, sign up for a free tier account and get your hands dirty. Launch a virtual machine, store a file, spin up a database, set up a network, and manage who has access to what. Now, this is going to be the longest stage, and for a really good reason. You should plan on spending about 6 to 8 weeks here, because this deep, hands-on practical knowledge is what's really going to make you stand out. And now, we've arrived at the most important stage of them all. Seriously, reading docs, watching videos, that gets you about 80% of the way there. But it's this final 20%, actually building real-world projects, that is going to get you hired. I want you to remember this. A certificate just proves you can pass a multiple-choice test. A project portfolio, that proves you can actually deliver value. Recruiters don't care what you studied. They want to see what you've built. So, what should you actually build? Let's start with project number one, a professional full stack web application. Every single aspiring cloud engineer needs to have this in their portfolio, period.
And you're going to build it just like they do in the real world. This means using stuff like infrastructure as code with Terraform to automate the whole setup. A project like this, on its own, proves you understand how to build for scale, security, and automation.
For your second project, you really want to focus on modern serverless architecture. Think about an event-driven pipeline, right? A file gets uploaded. That kicks off a function which processes some data and then stores the results somewhere. This shows you can build super cost-effective, efficient solutions, and, well, interviewers absolutely love this stuff.
Okay, if you really want to stand out from the crowd, this is the project to build. Deploying an application using Kubernetes is a skill that is in crazy high demand, and almost no freshers have this kind of experience. This project basically makes you an elite candidate.
So, you've built the foundation, you've mastered a platform, and you've put together a killer portfolio of projects. Now what? How do you turn all that hard work into an actual job offer? Let's break down what recruiters are really looking for. Now, pay close attention to the order here. Your real-world projects and practical hands-on experience are numbers 1 and 2. That's your proof. Number 3 is your ability to clearly explain why you built things the way you did. And yeah, certifications are on the list, but look where they are. They're last. They might get your resume looked at, but it's your projects that get you the job. So there you have it. The path is clear. It's going to take focus. It's going to take consistency. And yeah, a real passion for building cool stuff. This isn't a race. It's just about making a little bit of progress every single day. The opportunity is out there waiting. The only question left is, are you ready to start building?